Hello, how are ya?
Hello, I'm doing great. How are you?
Shalom, family.
Shalom.
What's up with you?
Not much, just enjoying life.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Today's an exciting topic, isn't it?
It is an exciting topic. It's really one of my favorites.
I know you do love some home selling. It is my
Mhm.
one of my favorite things as well. But yeah, selling property is an exciting time when you start thinking about where you're going to go, and you can get really overwhelmed sometimes. But there's really some questions that we have to identify that people typically ask, up front, before they make the decision to list their property. They're kind of curious about these, and we've kind of narrowed them down to the top five that we get all the time. If you've
Right.
got questions that you want to submit, let us know in the comments or reach out to us. You can always go to our website, theuncommontruthlive.com, and contact us. We'd love to hear from you. That's how we get a lot of our content, is from questions from all of y'all. So let us know. So what would you think, Carrie? Give us your top question that just comes to mind out of everything you've got. Just number one question.
Oh yeah. So top question is definitely how should I prepare my house before I sell it?
Home
That's,
prep is important depending on the
yeah.
quality and really who you are. It can be different for everybody.
Right. True.
So what works for one isn't going to work for another.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. It all depends on the sellers, on the home itself. Like it can be a quick process, it can be a little bit of a longer process. It's just highly individualized. And that's really what everyone kind of asks first, like, what do I have to do to my home, before I can put it on the market?
Right, because you might tell me to declutter, but you don't need to declutter because you ain't got no clutter.
Right?
Right?
And that's, you know what? You hit on one of the first steps that we usually recommend to people. And it actually has, decluttering actually has a dual use here. Like the first use, obviously, for our purposes, is to get that house ready to sell and looking good. But the other use is really for the seller's purposes to prepare to move. Like
Right.
that's half of moving, right? Is decluttering and deciding what you actually want to take with you and what you've had stuffed in a closet somewhere for, since you moved in and you probably don't need it your next place. So yeah, decluttering serves two purposes. So it's a highly efficient activity. I highly recommend it when you're getting ready to list your house. And that's everything from like getting rid of stuff that you don't believe, like editing your belongings. Some people like to put furniture in storage. If you've got a lot of furniture in your house, sometimes it doesn't show particularly well with the same amount of furniture that we like to live with. So a lot of times, just going ahead and putting a lot of that furniture into a storage unit and, keeping it safe as you prepare to find whatever your next place is can be a really good thing to do. Um, Clearing
Yeah,
out corner space.
it depends on your style, really.
It does.
If you don't have a whole lot of furniture, the big thing to remember is people are coming in, and your layout and all your stuff is supposed to kind of help them see the use of
Right.
the home, but it's not supposed to distract them from what's going to remain is the home, not your stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good point. Yeah.
And one of those big things is countertops and closets, right? What advice do you have for somebody for their? I mean, hello, I need a lot of space in a closet.
Yeah, I mean, most people do. Most people like to have tons of closet space, and so, obviously, as a seller, you're going to want to try to appeal to that inclination that we all have to see a nice wide open closet that looks really spacious. So I recommend that people take at least 2/3 of what is in every closet out. Yeah, I know it sounds like a big deal. It, it's not as bad as it sounds.
No, because we don't
And
clear it all it, over the time it's going to take to sell. But yeah, that makes sense.
right. And you leave about 1/3 of what's there, and that what you have is a nice open closet that looks really spacious. People can actually see the space that's in the closet, which is, they're if they buy the house, they're paying for the space in the closet. They're not paying for the stuff in the closet. So letting them see that space and letting them imagine all of their stuff in that closet is part of the process. That certainly helps out a lot.
Yeah, one of my big pet peeves is countertop space. And, we go to whatever store it is, and they've always got this great new mixer or new, you know, what is it, food
Food
processor or
processor,
coffee maker
coffee
or
machine, yes,
whatever. So we feel, oh, and don't forget the air fryer and the ice maker,
yes,
all those things that are on countertop. And it's
yes.
great to have all those things, but you don't have to have them all out at once. When you go to put your house on the market, it's like remove it all. We don't need to see your coffee maker. Unless it's a $5,000 coffee maker, we don't care. We have our own. We don't need to
Right,
see it. We don't need to see that you're an air fryer or whatever it is. And a lot of people just want it all out there. And they're like, we use it. Well, find a place for it that's not out in the open because we don't want to see it. And the pictures will look horrible with all your appliances on there. Oh,
right.
a lot of countertop shows that I can put a lot of stuff up there. Nope. It shows that you like to shop. That's all it does. So that's one of my things with, and especially from me, when it's shooting pictures of a kitchen, the
Oh yeah,
countertops got to be clear. I don't like
clear
stuff on the
countertops.
countertops.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah, same thing with bathrooms. Bathroom vanity countertops need to be cleared. Like that's a small space, compared to the entire house as it is. And, with all the different things that all of us use at our bathroom vanity, it's very easy to have, it's very easy to fill up that whole vanity top, even if it's massive, you can fill it up with all the stuff that you
Yeah.
use. So yeah, that's another really important area to just clear everything off, and then everything looks like open and spacious and clean for the pictures, and for the showings when people are actually coming to see the house in person.
Yeah. Neutralizing the paint is going to be a huge one for me on
Yeah,
what to prepare for because literally, it does make a difference. If you get a house with red paint, it's going to limit some of the people's being able to have their vision. And
right.
when you say neutralize the paint, neutral colors, but also your scuff marks that are on the wall.
Mm, yeah,
If you have to repaint the whole wall, it's better than just a line where you've had a scuff or anything because
right.
it needs to be clean and neutralized. And, if you do a horrible job on the painting, people are going to think you did a horrible job on the maintenance. It's just the way people think.
Right. That's really true. And you don't want a distraction on the walls. If there's a lot of scuff marks on the walls or the corners or whatever, that's going to distract people. Like that's really going to draw people's eyes. And you want them paying attention to the space in the house and the layout and all of the room that they're going to have, not to, little scuff marks that, are left on the paint. So yeah, and, investing in just like a fresh neutral coat of paint for the house is really something that can be good. Can
Yeah,
be.
I don't hate an accent wall. I get an accent,
Oh,
but it's still going to have to look good. And,
right.
you're going to have repairs that hopefully you're going to make because, we need to make sure that the house is in good shape. But, maybe one of those things that you do later in your repair list is the neutralizing the paint, depending on if you're going to have to remove anything from the
Mhm.
house that you're going to take with you. It's not going to convey,
Yeah,
you have to repair any damage and get it to really kind of look better.
absolutely. And then I guess along with that, comes the process of depersonalizing the house. I know this is one of your favorites. Take the word art down.
Oh
Like
my
you
gosh.
love word art. Yes, word art's awesome, but
No, it's not.
in
It
the selling
sucks.
process, it's not.
It's gone. That day of blessings and all this stuff and the family and no. Put your cricket away.
Yes.
Do
Yeah,
it for something else. But take the word art down before you neutralize the paint. Really it's done. That day is done. And yeah. I love it to depersonalize, but it's also for your safety too.
right. Yeah, that's a good point. And I know you like to talk about family pictures being on the walls and taking those down. Yeah, those
Oh,
have to come down.
yeah, completely.
Yeah, not only for the just the aspect of depersonalization and letting other people imagine themselves in the home, but yeah, also for your safety, because a lot of people are going to be coming through that house and looking around, and necessarily want them to be seeing pictures of your family.
Yeah, and if you're putting, I mean, once we shoot pictures and they go out on every site all over the
Yeah,
world, you don't need everybody seeing what your family looks like and being able to sit
right.
outside and go, oh, well, they left. Okay, well, or they've come home, or knowing who's home and who's not just from the pictures.
Right.
Don't. Think
No.
of yourself and your family as a priority, and anything with eyes, take it down. That goes
Yeah.
for animal heads too,
Yes.
unless you're like me and have a cute little plushy one that's like a knockoff on animal heads. You can leave that one, but at the same time, it's not going to be for everybody. But anything with eyes, get rid of it.
Yeah.
College diplomas, anything. One of the things that depersonalizing the house really comes into, sold one, a mile off UT campus, and the person who lived there went to A&M. Well, they had a lot of A&M stuff. We had to get rid of the A&M stuff with the Texas crowd, and it ended up being a math professor that bought the house. So yeah, it's got to be
Yeah.
knowing your audience too, but taking it down and just cleaning it up and
Yeah.
getting up that push lawnmower without the engine. What's it called? A spherical or something
A
that you.
real mower.
Bleh.
Yeah, I know you're not team real mower, but yeah, I mean, that brings us to lawn maintenance. Like curb appeal is, we've thought a lot about the inside of the house and decluttering the inside of the house and making the inside of the house neutral. But, before people see the inside of the house, they're going to see the outside of the house. So, keeping that lawn trimmed, keeping that lawn edged, removing any clutter that you have in the front lawn. A lot of us like to put like various plants and signs and decorations and stuff. Like, take
No,
all of that away. Like, leave that front lawn like nice and open and neutral. You can add a few like potted flowers if you want to, just for kind of a little bit of an accent, but it's really kind of a minimalistic thing that we want to look at. Um, and then, of course, the front door, the first part of the house that the potential buyer is going to see, is going to touch, make sure you've got a fresh coat of paint on it. Um, Look at the door hardware. Maybe it needs to be replaced, maybe it needs to be cleaned. Either way, just make sure that that front door and that door hardware are presenting your house in a really good light as a first impression.
yeah, people really have a hard time understanding that finally painting your house and cleaning up your stuff, it's not adding value to your house. And they go, well, why would I do it? Because it's needs it to be comparable, because
Right,
you have deferred maintenance. You haven't taken care of it. That's the stuff that you normally have to do to keep it up to a standard that
right,
is going to be judged with the other homes, because you want it to be a nice home that your house is compared to, not
right.
a run down one on the corner in the other neighborhood. Mm-mm. No,
Exactly.
yeah. So a lot of the things that you're going to have to do are going to be the maintenance items that you haven't done before.
Yeah, deferred maintenance.
Yeah. So, Carrie, to stage or not to stage? That is the question.
Ooh, question number two. Should I stage my home?
Yeah, to stage or not to
Yeah.
stage. So, um, there's two types of staging that are really out there. There is digital staging and real life moving stuff in staging.
Mhm.
And I'm not a digital stager. I don't like a digitally staged home that's always off.
Yeah.
Do not like it. And if you've got nice stuff and it's been carefully procured and you've
Mhm.
added so it looks good and stuff like that, there may be very little that you have to declutter and depersonalize in your home,
Right.
that your home's going to sell with that stuff in there.
Yeah, that's true. And a lot of times, like you said, if you do have a very carefully arranged house, it might be okay to stage with your existing furniture. The other option, of course, is to have your stager bring in new furniture, or
Yeah.
staging furniture, I should say. And it all kind of depends on your current furniture. It's great to get a consultation with the stager, somewhere in the process, to kind of, get their input on, whether they need to bring in furniture or you can use what you have that's existing. Um, but experience has shown us that a home with furniture sells faster than one without.
That's a key term. Say that one more time.
A home with furniture sells faster than one without.
Yeah, and it's and, it needs to be nice, and if this
Mhm.
is the crappiest furniture you've had, or it's worn out and looks dirty or soiled,
Yeah,
then yeah, it's probably going to be like time to get that out, and it needs to be look homey, but not like cold,
right.
right? And different styles affect people different ways, but it is really going to make a difference on the actual layout of the home. And people need a bed in a bedroom to see that it's a bedroom, unfortunately,
Yeah,
because they're going to
so
just
true.
walk away with questions: will that fit a queen size bed?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would be your third question you see asks the most?
That would definitely be the question about when is the best time to sell the house.
When is better than, yeah, I like that. It's a lot better than how much am I going to get? But how much am I going to get is going to be important as well. But, you
True.
know, what can I expect? We hear all of those, but the best time to sell is really going to be more crucial to me than anything else.
Right. Absolutely. And it's going to depend on that specific house. It's going to depend on what the market is doing, not you have to look at the general market, of course. You have to look at the market in the state, the market in the nation, but you also have to look at the market in that specific neighborhood, in that specific type of home, in that specific price range. Like there are a lot of factors to look at when we're talking about the market, that your realtor obviously can pull a lot of data and get a lot of information that can really help you kind of analyze like what the market locally that applies to your house is doing.
And the biggest thing that we're going to be looking for is the least competition. You're
Right.
going to get the best and the most out of your home if you're not having to deal with a whole lot of competition in your neighborhood. If
Mhm.
you're going on the market with five other homes that are out there to sell, that's just five other distractions. And
Right.
that's not the time you need to sell unless you have to. Some people don't have a choice. But
Yeah.
if you have the
Right.
choice to pick when you do, you want when you have least amount of competition. And people usually say, "Oh, the summer is the best time to sell the house." I don't need to know this. No, it's not. That's when the most competition is out there. It doesn't mean it's the best time to sell. Because
Oh,
look, in the last several years, it's been January, February, March, April, May, and June.
it's true.
And June is when it was winding down, and that's starting summer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
A lot of other houses go out onto the market, traditionally during the summertime. And yeah, you're right. It's a lot of competition, a lot of distraction, a lot of yeah.
and it's really both the market and the condition of the house is
Mhm.
going to dictate the length of time it's going to sell, because if your house isn't as nice as the other houses, you're just going to help sell the other houses. And
Right.
if your
Yeah.
house is priced too high, it's just going to help sell the other houses. And you have to be smart about it. And agents will really jump in and advise you on a lot of this, but you got to be open to listening.
Right. Absolutely. And another thing that's going to determine the time that the house takes to sell is going to be the marketing efforts. Like what is your agent putting into marketing that house and getting it in front of more buyers?
Yeah,
And there are tons and tons of different elements to that that, of course, we don't have time to go into here. But we're thinking about like pictures. What kind of social media presence does the house have? Like, is it out there in front of people on social media? Because that can be a big factor in getting more exposure for the house. Of course, the MLS listing that's going to be out there. Not only going to various websites that people are searching on, but to all the other real estate agents in the area. And then we can also talk about like realtor networks, like realtor to realtor communication and putting houses out in front of other realtors so they can match those houses with clients that they might have that are looking.
yeah, because that's really going to affect when's the best time to sell, and what all it's going to take to sell the home, because
Right.
different times you're going to have different highlights on there. So it'll make a big difference.
Yeah.
And it really matters based upon what's going on in your market and with your house. I mean,
Right.
you can have the best market. I have a lot of people that are saying, "Oh, I want to sell my house now." You missed the market. Don't expect the prices that you did 2 months ago because you've missed that market, and we've switched to
Yeah.
another market now.
Right.
So, give me your fourth question, and then or I'm wait, no, I'm going to throw out my fourth question. I'm going to
Okay.
throw out my fourth question, and then you can have the fifth, and we'll see if you match up with my thoughts on four.
Okay.
What's the selling price of my house?
Oh, yeah.
You hear that a lot?
Yes. Yes. That's such an important question.
Yeah, and if you call a realtor and they tell you on the phone what your price is that your house should sell for by doing a little quick CMA, as they're going to tell you, run. Again, I'm running with those track shoes. Run. They don't know how to do a really good market research on your home.
Yeah.
Walk us through why what you would tell somebody.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would say that the first thing that we would need to do is look at the house itself, because I can find certain information about a house without ever setting foot in it. I can find out square footage, bedrooms, age of the house, but that's such a small part of the picture. Like, it doesn't tell me like what kind of upgrades have been done in the house, what the condition of the house is, all those other things that I'll actually be able to see and experience, like when I visit the house, when I look around in the house, and of course when I talk to the people selling the house and understand what their goals are for the sale. Like,
Right.
those things are all going to be factors. So it's certainly not a matter of just giving a number. There are a lot of things involved, and of
Yeah.
course, I should mention here, it's the seller that decides the price of the house. I provide data, I provide guidance, I provide information that can help, but ultimately, you as the home seller are going to decide what you want to sell your house for, because it's your house, obviously.
Right. But the realtor is going to provide you that guidance and that the competitive, or excuse me, it's not competitive. It is a comparative market analysis and what we call a CMA. And a lot of people say, no, I want the competitive. It's really a comparative because
Yeah.
it's a comparative style that we look at other homes that have sold in your comparable uh, price range and quality and condition that really dictates what your house is going to sell for. And we're going to take all that information and all that neighborhood information in your price range and the type of home and what you've done to upgrade it and or update it even, and that will give you what your price is. And so somebody just shooting off the hip saying, oh, I can do this, unless it's like a type of same little house every single one, boom,
Right.
it's going to require some detailed work, and we've all customized. I mean, you can buy a house and a tract home and then have 5 homes in that little neighborhood that are exactly like yours, and what you do with it after you've purchased it is what's going to make the difference.
Yeah, it can be totally different, based on the upgrades and the modifications that you've made, kind of what you've done to make it yours while you live there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, so that was mine. Here, what's your round it out with your fifth question? And um I think I know what you may go with, but I kind of want to hear it.
Yeah. So question number 5 is, why do I need an agent?
Why?
Yeah, why should I use a real estate agent? Is a question that I hear quite often, and it's a really good question. Um,
Yeah, why do you? Because aren't they expensive?
well, yeah, I mean there are fees involved in using a real estate agent. That's certainly part of the formula. But you know what? I feel like everyone.
Is it
I'm
not
sorry?
free?
No, it's not free.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
not free, but most valuable services are not free. With a few exceptions. Um, And what your agent provides is going to be, just a lot of guidance along. It's a process to sell a house. There's a lot involved. And your agent can provide things like knowledge of the local market that we talked about. Um, your agent can provide advice on, what repairs to make, what repairs not to make before you sell, what renovations or upgrades or changes should you make, and which ones, should you not even worry about. I mean, that making those repairs and upgrades, depending on what you're thinking about doing, can involve a significant chunk of money. And it's worth it to talk to somebody familiar with the market, before you decide to do some of those upgrades and figure out, like, is that really even worth it for me?
Right. I mean, and when you've got a realtor who's in so many different homes, it does matter because they can tell you what the others compare to. And we've
Right.
got access to looking at other pictures, and when
Hmm.
we're in homes all the time, it does help to jump in and really be able to give you some background information on what others in the area or overall, or what the trends are looking like.
Right.
A lot of my buyers don't want a separate dining room from the rest of the house. They're
Hmm.
wanting a way to open that up and bring it all in one area.
Yeah.
And, really having somebody who can help and guide you in why you need an agent, and plus it's safety. Let's just go with the number one reason for me that you need it is safety. I mean, you're sitting there
Yeah.
like a sitting duck if you're not having a realtor having going tap tap tap, knock at the door, can I walk in your home?
Yeah.
No, thank you. I don't even like being at a business where anybody can walk in. No, I don't want you walking into my personal space too. I want
Right.
to have a little bit of way to provide and protect for my safety.
Yeah, that's a really, really good aspect that you brought up, is the safety of having that lockbox on the door that's accessible by licensed realtors and, people that have undergone all these background checks and that are going to be, with the buyers, accompanying the buyers. So you're not just, having random
Sitting
people come into your house. Yeah.
a sitting duck, on the first day of duck hunting season. Yeah, you don't want to be that.
That does not sound like a good thing to be.
No. And they're going to be able to guide you, and they're going to be able to assist you with your house needs some help, or let's do
Mhm.
this and let's maximize this. And it'll give you an outside perspective because everybody thinks that their home is the Taj Mahal. And I can guarantee you it's not. There's always a new home or somewhere that's something nicer. And it all becomes down to personal taste. And some of my
Right.
clients in the past, Carrie, it's all been in their mouth. But at the same time, some of my clients have had great personal taste. So, but they've always needed help. And it just makes it easy. You don't go to a dentist and then say, no, I'm going to pull my own teeth. You don't
Yeah.
go to a divorce attorney and try and settle your own divorce by yourself because you're going to get screwed, right?
Yeah. And it's just not, yeah.
And, it goes back to that jack of all trades. You need someone who is experienced with that if you're going to get the best
Right.
situation.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, that's not bad for a top five. I kind of like it.
Yeah. I think we came up with five pretty good questions.
Yeah, I do too. I like that. Hopefully, that will help people in their aspect of getting ready to sell, and they'll think about those. And of course, always, if you are going to, look to list your house to sell, to move to another area or another, something else, you talk to a realtor and really interview them. Pick up the phone and call me or call Carrie. We're happy to help you and answer any questions.
Absolutely.
Thanks for tuning in.